I've always said, if you mess with a landowner, you'd better know where the property lines are. Back in 2019, I bought 1,500 acres of ranch land just outside Redstone Ridge, a growing town where the country meets suburbia. The land had been in disuse for years, overgrown pastures, an old cattle barn, and hills that rolled straight into a dense pine forest. Perfect for a quiet life, and maybe someday a legacy project like a vineyard or solar farm. Just across the eastern edge of my property sat a planned HOA development called Willow Creek Reserve. 85 tightly packed homes with flower beds, matching shutters, and folks who sipped wine while gossiping about each other's lawn height. We coexisted without incident for a while. But everything changed when their new HOA president, Carl Denning, took over. Carl had dreams of expanding community recreation space. His vision: build pickleball courts, a walking trail, and a pond, right where my southern pasture began. The only problem: it was my land, not theirs. But in a stunning act of arrogance, and what I first assumed was a clerical mistake, Carl sold it anyway. One afternoon, I got a call from a local contractor asking when he could start leveling the HOA Greenbelt project. I asked what he was talking about. He forwarded me the plans, permits, and a site purchase agreement signed by Carl Denning, listing the parcel as community-owned buffer zone. Turns out, Carl had submitted forged maps to the county showing my 1,500 acres, or at least a portion of it, as part of Willow Creek's undeveloped land owned by the HOA. Then, behind closed doors, he sold a slice of it to a developer for $600,000. I was furious, but I wasn't stupid. See, my background isn't just cattle and fencing. I've got a degree in land law and spent 15 years working in real estate litigation before retiring to the ranch. I knew how this game worked, and I knew how to hit back. Legally. Step 1. I pulled every title record, plat map, and easement filed with the county in the last 5 years. It confirmed what I already knew. I was still the sole owner of the 1,500 acres. Carl had filed fraudulent plats and illegally represented ownership of my land. Step 2. I filed an injunction against Willow Creek HOA and the developer, halting all construction and freezing any movement on the land. Then I filed a lawsuit for fraud, trespassing, and damages, and named the HOA board members personally. But I wasn't done. While digging through the HOA's formation documents, I noticed something interesting. Willow Creek Reserve did not technically own the land their clubhouse, tennis courts, and communal park sat on. That land was leased under a 30-year renewable agreement from a now-defunct developer, and that lease had just expired. Guess who bought that 10-acre parcel the next week at a quiet county auction? Me. With one stroke, I became the new landlord of the Willow Creek HOA's most prized assets. And as per the lease terms, the tenants, the HOA, were responsible for maintaining the land or vacating it within 60 days. They tried to fight. Their lawyer threatened, pleaded, and finally offered to resolve the misunderstanding. But I wasn't interested in apologies. At the next HOA meeting, which I attended legally as their new landlord, I delivered a simple message. You tried to sell my land illegally, so I legally bought yours. I offered them a choice: dissolve the HOA and deed back the Greenbelt parcel to me, with a formal apology, or I'd terminate their lease and bulldoze the clubhouse. They caved. Within 2 weeks, the HOA board resigned. The neighborhood dissolved its covenants and reformed as a voluntary association. My land was returned to me, and Carl Denning was under investigation for fraud and forgery. I converted the old clubhouse into a farm co-op and named it Denning Commons. A reminder of what happens when you think a few signatures can outmuscle a deed and a determined rancher. Now when I look out across my land, it's all mine again. All 1,500 acres. Moral of the story? Before you try to sell what isn't yours, make sure the real owner isn't a lawyer with a long memory and a longer reach.